Hello and thank you so much for joining me today on WOW's YouTube channel. My name is Sasha Reade and I am one of the design team members for WOW. Today I've got a really cute, fun technique that's quite simple and easy to do but really effective that I hope you're really going to enjoy. You will need some heat embossing powders for this technique. I will list the ones that I've used down below in the description box for you so that they're nice and easy to find if you want to use the same ones. First thing I'm going to do is take a piece of cardstock and I'm going to ink up one of the edges big enough for a stamp that I'm going to stamp on it. So bear in mind when you're doing your beginning steps of your technique, think about the end of the project and what stamp you're going to use on your project, and then kind of have a piece of cardstock about that size. Now my whole inspiration behind doing this project today was that I wanted to use up my embossing powders and I really wanted to showcase some of them. So some of them I absolutely love, but I never ever get through all the embossing powders. So here you can see I did that whole side. I've got heaps left over in the jar. So I've never used a full jar yet of embossing powder, and this is one where you can take that embossing powder and you can really showcase it. So if you've got really pretty embossing powders that have glitters or lots of different colors in it like this one, this is a fun way to use them and really kind of let them wow themselves. So all I have done is made a big panel of this embossing powder, and I did heat set it from behind. That's why you couldn't see my gun. This one has got glitter and mica in it, and if you heat it from the front, it's going to blow all that off before it gets a chance for that embossing powder to kind of suck in. So heat from behind if yours is a specialty kind of embossing powder. Now I'm going to take this beautiful cute stamp set here from Woodware and I'm going to use that as kind of my focal image, and I'm going to stamp using my normal embossing ink right on top of that embossed panel. So we're kind of putting embossing onto embossing and then we're going to kind of melt them into each other. So you can get a really beautiful one layer kind of effect if you want. I will add some layers onto my cardstock to give it a bit more interest, but you could make this a one layer card if you really like. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on some opaque white right on top of my stamped image. And the WOW embossing powders are great because they just glide straight off of all the areas that don't have your ink. So it's really nice and easy to use. And I'm going to heat set this and kind of heat it a little bit extra just to kind of make it melt even more into that background. And we get this gorgeous, beautiful background with this flower on top, and it looks like it's a piece of pattern paper that was meant to be. And this one is actually quite textured. It's really beautifully quite bumpy, if that makes sense. And all I'm doing here now is just trimming it down till I get a nice even number. So I've got 8.5 by 10 in the end, and I'm just trimming it down around my image, making sure that I've got some kind of number to work with in the end. And then I can grab a scrap bit of white card and I can trim a nice little layer about 1 centimeter bigger than my little panel that I've made. So I'm just making this up as I go, and it's all based on my stamp. So I decided to go with a white panel behind because I've got that white stamping, and that's usually quite a nice way to make your color kind of continue on across your card, and you don't end up adding in too many extra colors. So I did have to let that sit with something heavy on the top just to kind of weigh it down a bit because it was wanting to curl after all that heat embossing that I did. But that was absolutely fine once I put that glue on there and then stuck a weight down on it. It's worked out nice and beautifully flat. So I want to add on a sentiment, and I kind of want it to be a bit matchy-matchy. So I decided to pull out this stamp and die set from scrapbook.com. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp Happy Birthday onto my scrap bit of white card that I cut off from that little panel. And I'm going to use the exact same embossing powder. Now this is really nice because it is quite a small, fine, detailed stamp, but you can still read it and see that it says Happy Birthday, which is really lovely. I heat set that off the camera, off screen I should say, and I'm going to go ahead and run it through my die cut machine. So I've got this tape which is called Mint Tape from scrapbook.com, and it's just a low tack adhesive. Now originally I thought I was going to do my panel like this and kind of have that Happy Birthday sit on top of the flower, but then once I stuck it onto my card and kind of started playing around with where I wanted it to go, I thought it actually looked really nice if I just had that panel at the top and then had my sentiment down below, and it seemed a bit nicer to the eye if I had it kind of matching. So that's what I decided to do here. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I feel like the embossing powder does all the hard work for me and adds such a beautiful shine and glitter to it that I don't need much else. I don't need any gems. I don't need any crazy sentiments. That cute little flower and the little sentiment I felt like did just enough. It really is so cute and sparkly. When I tilt it in the light just slightly, you can kind of see that sort of shine and shimmer coming through. Now I wanted to use up that sentiment that I made, and I wanted to make another card similar, so I went with the next color in that set, the one that was called Newport, and I did the green. And I love how they look. They're really quite cute. I love the white on white. If you fancy something a little bit more bold, or maybe your powders had a bit more dark color tones in them, then you can always switch it up and go with black and add a black panel behind, and you get a very sort of similar effect, but kind of complementing those tones. Now this white did have, this yellow, I'm sorry, did have white in it, so it would have looked better with the white, but never mind. I decided to try it with black and kind of show you guys how it looked as well in black. I hope you enjoyed this technique today, and I would love it if you had a go as well. Don't forget to subscribe to WOW's YouTube channel and check out their social media links. Take care and see you next time.